Good day, Dr. Habtamu again. This is like a video message from me to you from the area of the Teach Plain, just south east of Barara. So I wanted to share with you first that finally in Barara was very well diffused. I bought a copy of your book, and I was very proud to see that in a way my map from our map and my little idea of a web around Barara is here in perfect copy, and open a debate with this video to you and maybe also my team back in Italy and a few other universities apart from Rutgers. And it is about a few localities on the map and distances, walking distances, on a few open questions, points that may actually help us open a diatriba, a discussion, that may probably further our little knowledge, which, by the way, is by far, I guess, the most advanced this day on the whole matter. And thanks for your amazing, amazing book. Doctor, I have the problem of really reading it very slowly, but it has inspired me. I found that I thought I couldn't read more than half a page. And yesterday I read about 16, 17 pages of my new book with the total dismay and surprise of my family were all very good Amarophones. And I'm not. I thought I knew about 6 languages. Amharic was probably the worst I could practice, but I guess it's getting better, so much better than my first epistola to Dr. Habtamu will probably be in Amharic. It need be at this stage. So far, so bad because I'll use English because otherwise it would take me a lot of time and a lot of jugugur. And seriously, playing Disney Alicatel. And the first little town, or probably bigger town than I thought, I would put our attention on is Wiz or Vuicie on the map. Because it stands here in my research, and it's a set of ruins culminating in a V-shaped, huge sort of store, magazine, that my friend Enrico Bossi from Cagamanda, Milan, the doctor, actually the medical doctor, painted for me with his beautiful hand. So you probably have seen my paper on Vuicie with a big question mark. I let you recognize the problems and advantage of that. I went there and I saw it doesn't, at least those ruins I found, look like really a big commercial center. It looks a lot much like a rich, very rich rural center. Also, the kind of or the density of cultural material I find on the spot are like 5, 6 square meter, not the dozens which I found in areas which I think are more Barara or Sadai like. So definitely, I think it's more rural than town, but it could have been also town, but not inhabited for a long period of time, which would come to more or less the same amount of shekla and obsidian. An amazing obsidian producing area, which would make sense because it is, well, as the Voyager said, my width is 15 miles on foot, about 10, 12 kilometers on a straight line to the Awash Bend, or 13 kilometers. So really, 15 miles is a very good guess. I have more of a problem with our Barara. I put Barara in a long area until almost that you might have seen my last papers on Bertimoggio and Ninco Gabriello, where I see structures, and I guess they could be rural, not rural, but town-like, because they got a lot of cultural material, even diagnostic. So I guess, I'll be frank, it was a part of my answer to our good friend, our inspirator, who went off to the area of Amagia and said he had found Barara by splitting up and cutting them up in pieces. What a waste of a beautiful parchment. Really, it's a pity. But our friend Samoka inspired me to look more around this area. And frankly, as this is all inhabited, apart from those trenches I find here, apart from the news, but never did we really actually see a paper from that Arthur Rascal, one of my colleagues, I don't want to make names, very old and nice man, in a way, I could make anecdotes from him, but never mind. It's a bit of laugh stock of some of my colleagues in the university, even though I'm not in the university now teaching, I'm there most of the time when it was open. So I hear the stories. One of those guys say that they found, well, it actually changed, as well aware of it, of a huge medieval fort somewhere in Corfu Crania. So that's actually there. I see Barara starting and then it going down. And I got a big question for you. Why is it really Antit, Antita, or Andurna? Can't be the modern Entoto because that name was just stolen and taken there by Menelik. Am I right? So Antita must be here. So we must be right to distinguish Antita from Barara. Or my area here indicates Antita is one of the probable areas where Barara was. But it's clear from the writing and from the Futuh al-Bashar and from voyages that Antit and Barara are not the same, as Barara and Badek are not the same, in spite of being very near in many ways. So these are some of the localities I want to come on. Please reread and take attention. Sorry for the poor lighting. There's no brand, and I have to cut short, otherwise you won't even be able to see my shiny natural face anymore, because Vuicie, we must study together about it being, what was the name of that town? Further along around Walkite. I've forgotten it. I should find the page here, but it would be taking too much time. I could show you the hundreds of notes I've taken. It's, you probably wouldn't see it here. Many notes I've taken on just the first 70 pages I've read of your book. It is towards Walkite that we have another siege mentioned by travelers, and Walkite is rightly duly down here. So when I see my Vuicie, I have a problem with it. Perfect with the Awash, 50 miles, but not 5-6 days walk from Barara, more 4 days walk from Barara, especially it is only 35 kilometers from here and 45, 46 from here. So it didn't push me to for Barara a bit further north, as you pointed out, in the area of that Medanielem church, which I haven't identified yet, which has ruins. Of course, we were spending a lot of time on the ruins in this area of churches too. And a very brief note, fantastic. I never realized that the Mille Fouché, reported in 1987, of course I got problems. I don't have books, I don't have a library to access to, don't have the resources you guys have, which again I have the advantage though of moving around and being not worse than others, finding things from the sky, from the satellites. So when I concentrated on Berbersa, I couldn't find the study. This name came up, Marian Gifty, the two daughters by and Frey mentioned the church, and then there could have been a similar church somewhere here on the Mamelons before you reach Antit or the Old Antoto. Yes, but I haven't visited that area yet much. I know more or less what that church mentioned by Theophile Lefebvre is. It's again some lots of columns coming out, much the same as the design I finally found from Emile Fouché on the archaeology done those days. It was not a big problem. They had the knowledge, and Minli could welcome them to discover the discoveries were salicylic acids in the ruins of the church in Birbisaia in Piazza. And interestingly, it has the same sort of structure as both Amphrys L'Aletico, down here on top of Mount Hiere, exactly here, and the side towards me actually. And the other side of Riera at the back, more or less where my video ends, there was instead Nanfranco Ricci, Statovic, old, I'm missing in a way, Rodolfo, ruins of Gimbi Theodorus. Rightfully, Ricci doubts whether this really is a church. He says, maybe a church, not a church, it's very ornate. This one could be just a tower, says Humphrey, the one in Silatico. Very much the same, exactly the same style. I begin to doubt maybe Marian Gift was a church, but this stuff could all be churches and palace or mixed. They could be, in a way, medieval villas, which is even more fascinating. So I want to discuss these localities with you that are archaeological and, of course, this Yere stuff. Unclear, because Marcin is definitely below Yere. We all have a problem with Badek. I don't know how, I haven't read the Badeke part of the book yet. You must be as confused as me. From River Dukem. But remember that Arabi, if is Arab, is an Harari. My Harari sources confirmed to me with decision that he is not Arab, he's an Harari. So the bin Imam ibn Muhammad ibn al-Qadir guy, the man with an even longer name than Osberg guy, Stanhope Crawford, if you still bear with my gibberish, was an Harari with a peculiar version of Arab that the Hararis recognize clearly, reading the Futuh al-Habasha original, which we cannot. And so it's interesting to discuss with them what the word Dukem really reads out. Does it read Dukem or Doko? Because I still have a doubt that when they move from Mojo, that's clear, the Mojo River, and they come up, and there's a lot below here, a lot below, at least another 25 kilometers below Debrecen. When they move to Dukem, they see Badeke burning, and I can't see many ruins out here. There are a few, but I can see a lot of ruins here. It could be either this area near me, which I'm studying, which is called the Piazza Tich, but looks more rural than an imperial palace, By the way, from our map is 1430. Badeke may rise to a big fortune a century later, by when the king was residing there in the time of Turabesha. So I have another idea that even from River Dukem, if you climb up a hill, you clearly see Yeka. So you may remember, you may criticize that to me Badeke may just as well be the area where I'm living around Bolodoyo, Koye, Tuludimto, or also be Yeka. And that will make the same sense. The same about a day and a half distance from Barara, some 20 miles, more or less. But where is really Barara? More south or up here? We still haven't found the ruins. We did the archaeologists, we did the team. Still, this would be my main point for the time being. I think I call it off here because I have problems of taping and it's really heavy, and I make a second video. I hope I can say this.